Welcome to Kenpo University. My name's Al Babinick, and I'm your instructor. I had a question on how I teach and go about teaching all the techniques and the katas and everything like that as people go through the belts. So I'm going to do a quick rundown on how we do it, and it does change. So plan A is teach the first 3 techniques in the belt. So let's say we're doing purple, that'd be twirling wings, snapping twig, and leaping crane. And I just do the 4 basics, which is stances, strikes, targets, and timing. Okay, so I'm not teaching all kinds of extra stuff. Phase 1 it. It's just phase 1, stances, strikes, targets, and timing. Okay, and I'll teach 3 techniques, and that way they have enough. If they have to work on their own a little bit, they're not doing the same technique over and over and over. They're going to anyhow, but they have a little variety if I pair them up with somebody and they're doing techniques. Now, what I'm looking for after I teach them the 4 basics is that they just get it down. It's phase 1. So that's all I'm teaching is phase 1. As they get the techniques a little bit more comfortable, the next lesson or 2, I'll start talking about the rules and the principles and why we do what we do. Sometimes with certain techniques you have to do that as you teach the technique, but other times you could show the rules and the principles a little bit later as they go through, as long as they have the motions. Okay? Then, if they don't have any problems doing the technique, if everything's just going well, they can just do the technique, I'll start relating the technique to some other stuff they did before. I never relate up the system. So if I'm talking about hooking wings, for example, I'll never relate hooking wings up to the black extension on bow compulsion or something like that. You know, they're a purple belt. So I'm going to relate from purple down. Okay, so if I was doing hooking wings, for example, I would do the switch up into 5 swords as you go through. I'll show them, hey, look, you're doing the right outward, downward, diagonal sword hand in hooking wings. You're doing it in 5 swords. Do they mesh? Do they fit together? And I'll have them do that. I don't make people do that all the time. I'm looking for phase 1. They should know, hey, I'm looking for this. I'm looking for similar motions. And that's how we're doing it. So I'm going to try to teach the first 3 techniques, and after those, I'll just do one more technique at a time and do the same thing. One technique, I'll just teach the 4 basics. As they get comfortable with it, I'll start teaching rules and principles and relate it to things. My goal is usually, if they're doing a kata or a set, my goal is to have the kata or set done all the way through by the time they're halfway through the belt. So I do 12 techniques per belt, so I'm always trying to be finished by 6. If you have it different, or we're working on a 24 system, when you're working on the extensions, then it's by 12. Okay, so but you're trying to finish the kata by half the belt. That way they still have plenty of time to work on the kata as they're learning new techniques. Way too many people barely get done with the kata by the time they're done with the last technique, and then they want to test real quick. And it's like, no, you got to work on this a little bit more, right? So first 3 techniques, the kata should be done by the 6th technique, and then I just do 1 technique at a time from there on, okay? And it's the same thing, phase 1, and then the rules and principles, then phase 2 and relate it to stuff. And when they're working with other people in the class, then they can try phase 3 and see if they could just get into things. I'll remind them that, hey, you could go from hooking wings into 5 swords and stuff like that, but it's up to them to just kind of switch it up in class, okay? So plan B happens when somebody jumps into a class, and let's say I have 6 or 7 purple belts in my class already, and they're all at different spots. I will still try to do plan A and do the first 3 techniques. But if I can't, for whatever reason, because I teach who's ever standing in front of me, okay? If I can't for some reason, I will try to pick an easier couple techniques to start with. So if we're talking about purple, I'd do charging ram again. I'd do captured leaves. Those are pretty easy. I'll still try to stick with twirling wings or leaping crane or one of the first 3 techniques if I can, just to get those in there. And with plan B, it's still the same idea. Is teach 3 techniques, go through the 4 basics, phase 1, get the kata done by halfway, and then go through. And then as those first 3 techniques, as we're getting to the 7th, 8th, 9th, 12th technique. Those first 3 techniques are going to be really good for them, and then you can start going into more relationships and what if there was 2 guys and stuff like that. You can mix it up and do it that way. So that's basically how I do it. If you have a different way, a better way, whatever. I've had my school for 32 years. I've been teaching for probably 36 years, and I try to be a better instructor all the time. Okay? So, but if you have a better way to do it, or you want to throw your 2 cents in, go to the comments below. Make sure you let me know where you're from and what your name is and your school and stuff like that. And let me know how you do it or how they do it. Okay? Have a great one. Thank you for watching this video production from Kenpo University.